Yo! Alright, welcome to JV2 Chat. Again, just my small little channel working our way up. But yeah, here we are another week to talk about a couple things. Obviously, what happened throughout the week. But yeah, I just want to say huge thank you to everybody who's been watching the videos. The latest couple of videos have been doing really well. And obviously, I was able to get the ones with my friends out. Which again, check that out if you want more than just myself. It's good getting to talk to them and getting to obviously get different opinions out there as well. I feel like their ball knowledge is really good, or at least better than other people. But it's just entertainment, and I just appreciate it if you watch it, if you like it, or if you share it. Again, it helps a lot because I just want to get myself out there and hopefully just build a community. But yeah, we'll just keep going with that. And again, I appreciate it so much. We'll just get into this week's video. Alright, so starting with this week's video, obviously doing the 2 segments now per week. We'll start with the weekdays of last week. Obviously, we ended in Monday, the 20th of February. So now we're going to start with Tuesday, the 21st of February. And I'm just going to go smoothly through some of the games, talk through what I have to talk about. And then if there's just matches normal, we'll leave it at that. But at the end, we'll always check the tables and we'll see from there. I think that's better content just than me just rambling about whatever. Obviously Tuesday with Champions League week, and big games to be played. Obviously, we'll cover the basic one first. Napoli against Frankfurt, which obviously we know Napoli is doing completely amazing this season. They've revolutionized their football and their abilities and everything. The intake of them is just phenomenal, and I think it's just good. But obviously the Frankfurt one is it's iffy because I think that they're a good team, but they obviously lack in a couple things. But then again, they did win the Europa League last season, which again is huge. Is obviously huge. Nothing to discredit from that. The issue is, or I don't even know if it's an issue, because some people were saying that Frankfurt could pull a surprise here and could pull this and that. But I feel like, I don't know if it was like pretty obvious, but Napoli in the position that they are, it just, to me, it seems like unstoppable. Unless you're a big dog who's doing really well, they might come and haunt you. And that's how I saw the game. And a lot of people just put up their predictions. I think Frankfurt's going to defeat them, upset them, and whatnot. But things didn't go turn on as it planned. As obviously we start off with Napoli, a complete dominant, and just they get awarded a penalty, which we just saw Kavicha take the penalty, and he did miss it, and it's unfortunate. Obviously having different penalty takers in there, in Osimhen, or in the center mid from Poland, I cannot remember his name. But yeah, stuff like that. But he ended up missing it, which might have not caused like a lot of things or whatnot, and I didn't think it did. Obviously, you want a player, if you're supporting the score the pen or whatnot, but it just didn't happen. But the great sportsmanship that was showed there, which is that Osimhen, who's again been his partner in this whole thing, went up and lifted his chin as any other person that plays in your team should, and the game just went on from there. In which then we saw Victor Osimhen get his goal in a straightforward fashion, as again a very good representative of that team right there. Irving Lozano scoring his goal. Completely amazing counterattack, obviously, and Osimhen just continues to do what he does, which is get that goal in the back of the net, and they just do it in a fast progression play. But yeah, that ended up happening. But then after the second half, we saw Colomwani get a red card, which then influenced the game a lot, as obviously down a man, and then Napoli, knowing that they're that threatful of a team that can do stuff to you, just ends up capitalizing off of it, and then Kavicha ends up getting his assist, which was scored by Giovanni Di Lorenzo, which again, that just gives them a 2-0 lead going into the next match. So you never know what could happen. And of course, Napoli just have that very good depth right now. And again, they just made a lot of changes that influenced the team. Obviously, it just ended up being the 2-0, but it's a very good result to go into the next round. We obviously then move on to the game that was talked about a lot. And I watched this game because it was just pure entertainment. Obviously, Liverpool in the form that they are, completely unflattering or whatnot, but they were barking a lot to Real Madrid and saying Salah's third revenge arc, Salah's revenge arc and whatnot. But Real Madrid just composed, they knew how to calm down, but obviously after the result, they were able to hush Liverpool mouth. And I'm pretty sure Liverpool supporters themselves were able to be quiet a little bit, but the game starts off in a crazy manner because for the first couple of minutes we just see somewhat of an old Liverpool just going counter-attacking and trying to break the lines of that midfield, and what I wanted to say, an uncomfortable Madrid. They were just not comfortable in those first 20 minutes. But yeah, different stuff happens and different things happen. But the guy that I have talked about, and a lot of people talked about that could have scored, Darwin Nunez, he gets his goal. But it's not just any type of goal. If he backheels it in a completely unlikely nature, because it came out of nothing. It was literally just a ball that was played, and he just backheeled it, and it was an amazing goal. Obviously, it meant a lot for Liverpool players and supporters, as it was just a confidence goal. And as well for Darwin Nunez, that meant a lot, and hopefully he just picks up his form from there. But that's how that happened, and then of course the game continues on. Liverpool seem a little more dominant, and they do get their second goal with Mohamed Salah. But of course, there wasn't even like a great display from Liverpool. It was just a mistake from the goalkeeper, Courtois, which just tried a little too much to control that ball, which he could have just booted. Obviously, that's not fashion-like, but he just miscontrolled it. And with Salah there, he just took opportunity of that and took his chance. And by the 15th minute, Liverpool were already 2-0 up, which was crazy. Because, again, a lot of people were barking. But of course, you can never underestimate Real Madrid, as they did come back, or it started to show as we move one by one, in which Vinicius Jr. pulls off something out of the hat of a magician and just completely obliterates Alisson and just completely takes control of that game. Because that shot was absolutely phenomenal. And he just gives confidence to the Madrid players. He scores his goal, obviously assisted by Karim Benzema. And then he scores his other goal. But again, in an unlikely manner. Because Alisson, who seemed like the better keeper at the start, just because of the mistake, just looked, again, like, I don't know. I feel like he had so much time to just look up. But he didn't. He just decided to boot it straight into Vinicius' path. And it just fell right onto him and happened to cross the line. So at the end of the day, even if it was a bit of luck, that's all Madrid needed to dominate the whole game. But that's how it happened. 2 mistakes from the goalkeepers reminds us of Loris Karius. But that's just how it happens. And it was just a crazy form. Because it was just a game that turned so fast out of nothing. Again, that was in the 36th minute. But then we keep moving into the second half, where we just see a Madrid corner, in which I saw another video showing that Trent didn't mark his man. Eder Militao was Trent's man, and Eder Militao went into the middle, being unmarked, and a perfect ball which just delivered him across. And just delivered them a goal, because Eder Militao was able to just slot that in. Very nice, very easy, and very composed. Madrid now are 3-2 up in a game that looked completely out of the toes by the 15th minute. But it was just crazy. As that goes on, Liverpool's inexperience this season just continues to show. And Madrid keep growing into the game and into the team and just build up that confidence and build up that toughness that they have to be able to come back in moments like this. And the crazy part is that it happened at Anfield. Anfield is to be seen as this fortress, this whatever, and Madrid just obliterated that in the span of 90 minutes, or probably less. But then again, we see just Benzema getting his goal. Again, Karim always reliable, but then again, Rodrigo is the one that assisted this one. And then towards the very end, we just see that back line get completely embarrassed by, again, Karim Benzema, just completely dancing through the players and just slotting the ball, calm, cool, and collected. It was a crazy matchup to begin with, but this is just like a classic. Liverpool fans barking and Real Madrid fans calm, but at the end of the day, they got to laugh. And it was just, somewhat good, but the only reason why it's good for me is because, obviously being a La Liga supporter, You just see all of these people talking and talking about La Liga not being a good league, La Liga not being up to par. While it's not up to par in the money, do not underestimate the team and the technicality or the way that we play. But it was just good to see that, and it was just good overall, and that's just how we move. But yeah, matches for Tuesday, that is it. We just move into Wednesday now, in which again we had some more Champions League matches in which we just see Manchester City go up against RB Leipzig, which again we just see something crazy, as I at least expected the City team to just be dominant completely and show that they're capable of competing in the competition by winning comfortably because of the manpower that they have. However, that was not the case. Erling Haaland, I thought, was going to have a goal fest, but it didn't seem likely, as Leipzig showed up, and they showed up well. Riyad Mahrez ended up scoring the goal, the reliable man for their UCL campaign. But again, a lot of changes had happened on this City team, and Kevin De Bruyne was nowhere to be seen. And just, I don't know if it's Pep overthinking, but there was just a lot of weird things happening. And at the end of the day, Leipzig just got their goal in Gavardiol, the young Croatian magnificent center back. He just gets his goal, and it's amazing to see because it's just very well done. And yeah, it was just a tight match, but again, I expected more from City, and the in-depth that I saw was just not it, as Leipzig caused a lot of trouble to them and a lot of trouble to their back line. We'll have to see on the coming one, but again, that is just iffy Valley, and if City want to win the competition, they really have to step it up. Another game that was probably really good was Inter against Porto, which again, a lot of things happened in this one, and we did see in the 78 that Otavio got a red card, which I want to say did give the upper hand to Inter, as then the man that came in the 58th minute ended up scoring his goal in the 86th, Romelu Lukaku, which again, I don't know if I can call him Mr. Reliable, as he's been iffy this season, obviously. I would have thought that Lautaro Martinez would have gotten a shout, but it didn't seem likely in this game, as it was probably just a tight game. We did see battle of the keepers, as they both had amazing saves. Onana and Diogo Costa, just completely amazing from them. But it was an end-to-end shout-out game, and at the end of the day, Inter come victorious, which again, I think that second leg is going to be very good, even if Inter are 1-0 up. I think that second leg, from Porto's perspective, there's still a lot to be said, which again, we'll just have to see. But Wednesday, those are the Champions League games. We move on to La Liga MX on this day, which again, my beautiful Cruz Azul ends up getting their win, and against Atlas, which is just old rivalry, and we just end up winning 1-0 with Augusto Lotti getting the goal. And yeah, a substitute coming in the 45th minute just seals it off the deal, and just helps us with 3 more important points to hopefully try to turn the season around. Again, it's only match day 7, but I guess we're trying. But yeah, that's what happens on Wednesday. We are gonna move into Thursday now, in which again, the second shout for the Conference League and Europa League matches, in which I guess I can just say the teams that passed. Anderlecht passed, which again, tight game, but it just went on, and they passed. They won in penalties. Sheriff won, and then I don't know who won on this one. AEK, I'm pretty sure that's a Greek team, but I do not know. Lazio then winning and progressing. Lech winning and progressing. Ghent winning and progressing, but it was in penalties, and I'm pretty sure this was the match that went to the high and IM penalties, where it was just complete on crazy. Fiorentina progressing, which I think they had the biggest goal margin, being 7-2, winning against Braga. And then Basel progressing. That's it for the Europa League Conference, and then we move obviously into the Europa League, the second set of playoffs, in which we have Sevilla progressing against PSV, which again, that game was very, very good, because Sevilla did what they had to do in the first leg, but then PSV came in knocking, and they got close, but it didn't work. Juventus ended up getting the win in a more convincing result, with Angel Di Maria pulling old tricks, old magic out of the book, which if anybody saw that first goal, I don't even have any words to describe that. That is beautiful. I don't even know how you can have a technique to do that first time, but it was just completely amazing. And Di Maria, completely amazing player. But yeah, and then we see obviously another game which was crazy. Leverkusen against Monaco, which the first game ended 3-2 going to Monaco, and this game ended 3-2 going to Leverkusen. But at the end of the day, it went to penalties, and Leverkusen were the one that was most convincing, and they end up progressing. We see Sporting completely obliterate Midtjylland. I don't know how to say it. I am sorry. I apologize, but they end up progressing in a very easy win, being 4-1. Union Berlin end up completely shutting down Ajax in what seemed to be just the second matchup that they needed, and 3-1. And then we see also again another shout for penalties with Rons and Shakhtar Donetsk. Again, another amazing game, and it just got unlucky towards the end. As Rons still able to get the win, but just progress a little bit enough into going into the penalties, which then is just completely unlucky as Shakhtar Donetsk is the team that goes forward. And then we obviously have Roma against Salzburg, which Roma go through. Paulo Dybala, big display from him, but it's just good, and I'm glad that they're still in. And then of course the game that I want to talk about, Manchester United against Barcelona. Obviously, I talked about it a lot in my first video, being said that this is high pedigree football, and it's just amazing to watch games like this, especially in the Europa League. But I'm not going to sit here and try to justify the result. We ended up losing. I'm not going to say we obviously didn't have Pedri and Gavi. Maybe things could have been different if we had them here, but obviously, we lost a game that I don't think we should have lost, because I think we had enough capabilities to go forward, but it was just in our own mindset that we didn't. I don't even know, I wasn't confident. I believe in my team and everything, but I was just not confident, because I obviously know that there's just a lot of things that can happen. And after us getting that first goal, I was telling myself we need another one to sit comfortable, because if we don't, they're going to come back and bite us. And obviously it went to the first half, and then the second half, that first goal that just happened in a flash, which, who scored it? Fred ends up getting the goal in just a simple pass play, and then back to him, complete beautiful strike. When they scored that goal, I told myself we're not going to come back. I didn't think we had it in us. Rafinha was not playing up to par. Lewandowski was not playing up to par. We were lacking in the attacking department, and it was just not going according to plan. We did have some chances. We had some shouts, but at the end of the day, what Ten Hag has built in that team, and what the fortress that is becoming into that Manchester United stadium, is just completely unchangeable. They were the better team. They had the better chances, and at the end of the day, Anthony with his goal cost us to fall out. Applause to Manchester United, because again, they are an amazing football club, and I'm glad that they're getting revived, because it's just more competition, and this is a game where I really wanted us to see tested. I think we did fairly good between both legs, but obviously it wasn't good enough as we didn't get the result that we wanted. But good football is all that I wanted to watch. I'm obviously disappointed by the result, but we just keep moving forward. Obviously, I see a lot of people that were talking about, oh, Xabi out, shouts for Xabi this and that, he's a fraud manager. And while he might not have the credibility that he has on Europe, this is again his first season in charge. There were other people before him that still got us knocked out of Europe. So him not being able to do it twice in the Europa League, yes, he went and bought a lot of players in the summer, but I don't think that justifies us trying to sack the manager or calling him a fraud. Hopefully we do remain top of the league, La Liga, and hopefully we do win it as well. We can hopefully get that domestic treble, and I think that would be an amazing season for him. Even now with the first trophy, that's already better than last season having to work with it. But hopefully we just keep winning, we just keep thriving, because that is what FC Barcelona is all about. And yeah, we just happened to lose this game, and Manchester United now is a very heavy contender to win the competition. And that's all the games of Europe for that week. We then see La Liga MX game, in which we see Toluca completely obliterate Santos Laguna 5-0, which again, we'll try to check the table at the end. that's what happened on Thursday, and now we move into Friday, in which Friday we saw Mainz completely obliterate Mönchengladbach. Again, just completely out of the bag. As I do think that Gladbach have good people, good teams, good players, but Mainz just completely obliterate them. Lee Jae-sung, who's been a big carrier in this Mainz team, getting a goal, an assist, and just, again, more players contributing, obviously, to the 4-0, but just completely well from them. And then we also see Fulham against Wolves, in which the game was just still ended 1-1, but it was obviously good as the Pablo Sarabia ends up getting a goal. And then the new signing for Fulham, I think, new signing or player that came back to them, Solomon, was able to get the goal for them and completely tie up the game, as I think obviously both teams could have benefited off of this result, because obviously Fulham are now in that competition for Europe and Wolves are just trying to fight and stay away from that relegation zone. And then again, a La Liga match this day, in which we see Real Betis go to Elche, but in a very, very contested match, as a lot of things happen. Elche going up 2-0 in the first 10 minutes, and it was just a heated game in which it forced the manager of Real Betis to bring in big players and take it seriously. But then 57th and 58, a lot of things happened, which I wasn't aware of. 2 red cards were shown to the Elche players, and they were already down to 10 men, in which then we just see Borja Iglesias convert a penalty, Juan Miranda convert a goal, and then again towards the very end, we see another Elche player in the 90th plus 4 get a red card. They were down to 8 men, and I want to say it was in the penalty area, as William Jose scores the penalty and gets the 3 points for Real Betis, which again, just huge, as obviously the match was just completely chaotic. We obviously see again Lille against Brest, with Lille 1-2-1, and just all in all, end and finish good. Not scoring from the big Canadian man up top, but we just move in with that. Liga MX, Necaxa and Querétaro tying 1-1, and Pumas getting a result 2-1 against Mazatlan, which just, completely well and very well done for them. But yeah, those are all the games for Friday. And then again, if you made it to the end of the video, I really appreciate it. Obviously, I got a couple of things more on some heavy games that I did want to talk about that I just had in my mind, and just a little refresher on the rest. At the end of the second video on Monday is when I'll do the full table, just to see what it's like, what we can talk about on there. But then again, I really appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the shares, the support, and hopefully we can just catch you on the next video. See ya.